It's time to get into episode 221. What is happening, TwT fans? It is so good to be back on this June 27th, 2024. And it's so great to see so many of you coming back for more. I greatly appreciate it, everybody. I want to just say thank you. Thank you to all of my subscribers. You are what keeps me coming back week after week. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, if you're new, popping by, checking it out, someone sent you a link tree, gotta hit that subscribe button, all right, everybody? It's what keeps the podcast growing, it's what keeps the guests coming on, and it's what keeps me doing this thing, right? So if you want your opportunity to be on the podcast or tell your story, maybe there's a story that needs to be heard, well, you got to send an email. That's right, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. That's talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. It's the official email of the podcast. You need to send an audio, video, or type it out, but that's how you join the podcast. And then, of course, don't forget about the Linktree link. It is in the description below the video. It's how you find everything TWT. It's just that easy. And now it's just that easy to share the podcast with everybody you know. So go ahead, copy that, and share it. All right? Help me make this thing bigger. I definitely appreciate everybody who does, and thank you as always. But now, with all that out of the way, let's get into today's podcast. So, well, I had a hard time getting guests. Life got in the way. So I'm not going to make any more empty promises to anybody out there, but I am going to let you know that as soon as guests come on, everybody will know. But yeah, I thought I could pre-plan, and it looks like that backfired on me. So for that, I apologize. But I can't apologize for life and people being busy. So guests will be coming on. I have talked to everybody. I will let you know when it happens, okay? But that being said, let's take a quick break so you can hear from my sponsor. June is finally here, and it's time to slow down and soak up the summer vibes. And where better to do that than at Slowdown Clothing. Visit slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com to discover a world of laid-back beach essentials and summer styles that will have you looking and feeling cool all season long. From cozy beach towels to stylish swim trunks, Slowdown Clothing has everything you need to make a splash this summer. And for the little ones, we've got a fantastic selection of kids' hats and more. Perfect for those family beach days. But wait, there's more. Treat yourself to a range of our trendy t-shirts, hats, pins, socks, and so much more. Express your unique style and slow down in comfort and fashion. And here's the cherry on top. Use promo code TOPHER at checkout and enjoy an extra 10% off your entire purchase. That's right. Save big this June at Slowdown Clothing with promo code TOPHER. So what are you waiting for? Embrace the summer spirit. Refresh your wardrobe and chill out in style with Slowdown Clothing. Visit slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com today. And don't forget to use promo code TOPHER for that exclusive 10% off your entire purchase. Slow down, unwind, and let your style shine this summer with Slowdown Clothing. What's happening, everybody? All right, I am back, and it is now time for Topher's Topics. You know, sometimes I have so much fun with these, and I hope everybody out there does too. I know I kind of go off the handle. Maybe I talk a little erratically. I don't know. I can't talk anyways. But, it feels good to be able to at least feel like I have an opinion sometimes. Or maybe I'm onto something. Or maybe I got something right. I feel fine when I get something wrong. When I get something right, it's surprising. But I just have a lot of fun with this, and it really does help me with editing and also getting through and making sure that everybody has a podcast every week. So this thing is a monster. It's 20 to 40 hours, and in between work, life, and everything else, I'm just so thankful for everybody who's hung on and just interacted with the podcast in general. I really do want to say another thank you before we get going. So my first topic today is during year of extremes, carbon dioxide levels are surging. Now, there's not really much to show. There's a picture of a rainbow, and this is a station up on a mountain. And this is where, when you get elevated, everything rises. So they're testing for these things, and they're noticing that the carbon is more than ever today. And I want to believe that they're all just, gaslighting us. Like we don't know. Like we have no idea that the carbon is more today than it ever has been. We have more green foliage, trees, bushes than ever before. I mean, everything is blossoming, is green. The ground is so saturated that numerous houses around my house in general have had to get French drains put in. Luckily, for some reason, I haven't. So, I don't know. I'll knock on my table because it is made of wood. Thank goodness I was capable of getting all the water away from my house without going to the extremes of a French drain. But man, the water table is crazy right now. And if it doesn't dry out, I mean, we're in no fear of a drought. Again, we didn't have a drought last year, and we're not going to have a drought this year. The ground is too saturated. There is too much water in the table. And just goes to show you, like, where we're at. Is that because of the higher carbon? Possibly. But is that also the way things are supposed to be going? Like, is this just another scare tactic, And I really do believe today that it is. Even though they're going to put science behind it, they're going to say all these things, whatever. But at the end of the day, I feel like all they're trying to do is keep us afraid. They're trying to keep us, what do you mean? What do I have to do? What can you tell me to do to fix this issue? Tell me, because if you don't tell me what I'm supposed to do, I'll never know. I mean, come on. There's not much we can do. There's not much we can do about it. You can only do what you can do. And that is enough to add on to the impact. But you can't do everything. You can't expect to go without, and you can't expect people to spend more money to accommodate to your suggestions, I guess I could call it, because I think these are just suggestions at this point. There is so many people on this planet, and yet America's like, we're not doing enough. We need to do more. There are more restrictions, more this, more that. We're going to show everybody how it's supposed to be done. Well, guess what? You can't stop the rest of the world from doing it, so we will keep doing what we can to help, but at the end of the day, these things are not scary anymore. This is just annoying. It's so annoying. And how many people out there actually believe that, like, this is all our fault? Like, this isn't just something that's happening, right? It's just happening. But what can we do to stop it? I need to go to work. I need to pay bills. I need to do things. So therefore, I'm getting in my gas car and I'm driving. And no, I will not switch over to electric when they make us. There's no way you can make me. You can't make me switch over to something that I can't afford. You can't do it. I can't afford it. So, if you're with me on this, friggin' say something. Put some comments out there because this is crazy. You're going to make me go all electric, but I'm going to be the one paying for it. So that means I have to buy 2 cars, 2 chargers. What? I have to what? Upgrade my electrical panel? Again? That costs thousands of dollars that I don't have. I can't even get a car loan right now. You know what I mean? So for them to keep saying that we're the problem and the only way to fix the problem is to get the things that they say to buy, and then they're going to turn around and make it mandatory that we do it, that's not part of a solution. That is part of another problem that they're causing. Because as soon as all the electric goes in, everybody's going to start having power issues. I'm telling you, the power grid cannot support what they are telling us is going to fix this issue. It's not, it can't. I don't think it physically can. I don't. Appeals court rules against Middleborough boy who wore "there are only 2 genders" shirt to school. I mean, this is just awful, everybody. It's just awful. I really was hoping that it wasn't going to get to this point. But so the federal appeals court judge recently sided with Nicholas middle school educators who sent the 7th grader home last year, and after he refused to change his shirt. So let's just watch the video because this is crazy to me. There is only 2 genders, everybody. There is only 2. You can't make this shit. You can't just make a story up and expect everybody to fucking swallow it. This is so stupid.
Local teen who got in trouble for wearing a "there are only 2 genders" shirt to school has lost his appeals case. A federal appeals court sided with a Middleborough middle school who made then 7th grader Liam Morrison take the shirt off last June. Morrison claimed the school was violating his First Amendment rights. Following the ruling, his attorney said they were considering appealing to the Supreme Court.
Okay, so all right, fine. All right, I guess I could look at this from the school side of view, a point of view, and you're not allowed to wear obscene t-shirts. So if they put that in an obscene t-shirt category, then the school is in the right. I wasn't allowed to wear shirts with the word shit on it. I had to change my shirt, take it off. We weren't allowed to wear the violent shirt. So if the clown was stabbing somebody or whatever, you know, you had to take that off. I couldn't wear my Guns N' Roses shirt with the 2 revolvers on it. Yeah, so I guess if you're going to put it in a banned t-shirt category, but I don't think it should be because it is the actual truth. What is so wrong about the truth, everybody? You can't make gender up. You can't make it up. So for this to even be a conversation today is so retarded. It's so retarded because you people don't even understand what you're doing. What are you trying to change? You can't be a woman and turn into a man and be a man. You're still a woman. You can't be a man and turn into a woman and be, you can't be a woman. You're a man. You are a man. It does not physically fucking work. It doesn't matter what you do to yourself or what surgeries you have. You are still what you were. You can't change that. You can't change DNA. You can't change biology. So for everybody to be trying to accept this narrative of a fairy tale is just insane. It's insane, everybody. And what do we usually do with insane people? We usually lock them up. And instead, today, we pat them on the back, give them a trophy, and tell them, good job. What? This is almost as irritating as, parents just buffering everything for their kids, just guiding them through a false life with no obstacles. That kid's in so much trouble. You have hurt that child by not allowing it to bump and bruise itself or deal with a tough situation on its own. This is doing the same thing. You're all enablers. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it because it doesn't make sense, and it's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale that everybody is allowing these children or people to live in. Look, I don't care if you want to change your gender. I don't care if you identify as a teapot or a cat or whatever. You want to be a furry. Great. I don't care. But at the end of the day, the fact is there is only two genders on this planet. Male, female, and females are the only ones that can have babies. Period. 2 workers injured after being run over by a paving roller at a construction site in Windham. This just happened a couple days ago. For you, it'll be a couple weeks, but this is crazy, everybody. I mean, the steamrollers are not small, and they vibrate like crazy. Like when they paved my driveway, it was vibrating my whole house. So I don't understand how, first of all, this is your job, right? So you're doing this shit every day. So maybe you get a little too lax about it. I've been guilty of it myself. You just making sandwiches, whatever. You just go through the motions. You're not even thinking anymore because it's just a day in, day out thing. So maybe, but let's find out, because man, when I heard this, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That must have been,
those 2 workers were part of a paving crew laying down asphalt at this gas station in Windham. First responders say that they were both injured when the driver of a paving roller lost control of the machine.
Oh, how do you lose control of that machine? How? It's not like it's a race car. It doesn't go really fast. I think the fastest he said he could get it up to was about 8 miles an hour, maybe 10. Maybe the bigger ones go faster. But how would you lose control? I mean, it's a giant wheel. Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? You race car driving? Like, too much water? Like, what would cause that machine to be uncontrollable? Right? I don't know. Man, that sounds crazy to me.
Work back underway at a Windham job site after 2 crew members were rushed to the hospital.
It's our understanding that the driver of the machine hit a curb, was catapulted off the roller, and then another individual saw it, tried to jump on it, and he got a leg injury. The roller went over the leg of the driver.
Windham Fire Chief Thomas McPherson says both workers had serious leg injuries. One was so bad, firefighters called in the med-flight helicopter.
My understanding is both of them were conscious and alert. And again, the one that was med-flighted had a more significant leg injury, but none of the injuries were life-threatening.
The fire chief crediting the fast response of that med-flight and medics at the scene, saying the injured worker was on the helicopter just minutes after the call was made.
Med-flight actually came really quick. We were told that it was about a 13-minute flight time, but by the time we rolled our engine here to secure the landing zone, med-flight was overhead already. So I'd say probably within 7 minutes.
Wow. This incident is now being handed off to state investigators. We also reached out to the paving company who was in charge of this job site, and so far have not heard back.
Yeah, and you won't hear back from them. It's fine. It's because they have to figure it out. They got to get their lawyers involved. You have to figure out what happened, and the company needs to protect itself first, right? Right. The corporation is going to figure out how to protect itself. It probably is going to pay out a lot of money, and they'll do a settlement so that there's no, like, keep their name out of the paper, right? But, man, so we hit a curb, and yeah, I could see that because those things are not, there's no shocks in them, no nothing. So you hit something, and it bounces back. You lose control. He falls off. I watched a video the other day of a four-wheeler coming down the hill. It had nobody on it. The person must have been thrown off, and this thing was just gunning for this dude, and he's standing in front of his four-wheeler, and then he just steps in front of the four-wheeler that's coming down the hill. It's catapulting down the hill. It's tumbling over. It's not like it's driving on all four wheels. It is tumbling head over toe. And he's like, I don't want my four-wheeler to get hit. So he throws himself in front of the four-wheeler, and the fucking rim smacks him in the face. What? Get out of the way. It's a machine. Why do we think, like, I understand, like, wanting to act and try to save somebody's life or do something and try to help, like, move something, you know what I mean? Like, you do things that you think you can and then realize you can't, right? I do it all the time. I'm like, I can do this. And then I realize I can't. But what would make you think that, like, getting in front of a steamroller, even though there is a person stuck underneath it, what did you think you were going to be capable of doing? If that steamroller was still moving forward, rolling over that gentleman, you probably should have gotten behind the steamroller. That way, as soon as it rolled over him, you could have slid him out before the second wheel goes over him. But I wasn't there. We weren't there. We don't know exactly what happened, but man, I heard one of them was, I think it was another article headline, but it said that one of them died, and I don't think one of them died, but I thought that they got crushed up by the thigh, which, I mean, you hit that main vein, and you have minutes to live with that vein in your leg. So that's what I thought happened, but it seems like it might have been below the knee. Which, if it's below the knee, you are technically okay. You are technically okay. So I'm glad that they're going to live, but man, could you imagine the amount of pressure on top of you from a steamroller that's meant to flatten road? I don't know. That had me, like, cringing. I was like, my God, that's got to be so painful. Suspect steals car, crashes into over a dozen vehicles in Dorchester. Oh, boy, everybody. I mean, it's just every day. Every day now, you have more and more people just crashing into everything.
A man wants justice after someone stole his car and then went on a rampage.
Dozens of cars crashed into in Dorchester. We've been following the story throughout the afternoon. Boston 25 News reporter John Monahan live in Dorchester. And John, the stolen car, apparently a one-of-a-kind ride.
Oh, no.
A wild ride for sure, Carrie. That car was stolen in downtown Boston, making its way to Dorchester. In the process, more than a dozen cars were hit, leaving them with everything from scratches to smashed headlights and busted bumpers.
Shit. Is he doing it on purpose?
It's just sadness. I'm like, I just literally bought that car like 3 months ago.
Luan Dai's new Lexus was in pieces on Adams Street in Dorchester as this black 1987 Buick Grand National, captured on surveillance video, was doing a demolition derby, hitting 15 to 20 cars in this Dorchester neighborhood on Monday. Turns out what was left of this black beauty was dumped after being stolen in Boston.
I was working on Providence Street in Boston. I'm a Unit 9 worker, Local 7.
Dennis Harrington says this was his pride and joy. He just got it out of the shop and brought it to work in downtown Boston.
I was working on a truck, doing stone in the building. Someone goes, hey, a car like yours just drove by. I look over and goes, no, that is my car. There's not a car like this in America. Like, this thing's one of a kind.
Boston police say
Oh,
the driver
shit,
who stole
really?
the Buick
Why is
crashed
it
into cars
one of a
on
kind?
Center, Dix, and Parkman streets. Neighbors tell Boston 25 they heard the loud series of crashes.
There was a car that had smashed into another couple of cars in the neighborhood, and then he peeled back and went up the side street, Dick Street, and hit a couple of other cars.
The car thief took off when he couldn't drive any further, leaving behind several damaged cars and frustrated neighbors.
I'm literally working, and then my mom sent me a picture of my car. I'm just shocked. I'm like, how did my car park there and get hit? And it's 2:30 in the afternoon. You see what I'm saying?
Owners of
Holy
those cars
shit. That is a freaking bummer. What? I know how he feels. I know exactly how he feels. You know? I had a beautiful car and somebody smashed it and now it's gone. And but luckily for him, it's fixable. But I would still be pissed because now you have to have a car that didn't have any damage. You have to have it fixed. And that goes on the report. That brings down the value of the vehicle when you go to sell it because it's now on the report that it was in an accident and it had to be fixed. And you know what? It's never the same. It's never the same. They do a great job, most, body shops. Most body shops, I have to say, that I've gone to over the years have done great jobs repairing my vehicles. But at the end of the day, when you stand back, you look at it, it's just a little off. It's a little off. The color's a little off. It's just never the same. Even if I had my car repaired, which is what I was hoping for, but it didn't happen. And now I drive a Nissan Sentra, which is saving me a ton of money, but it's still sad. I hate it. But me and my wife joked about it, maybe because I hate it. I'll be able to keep it, right? Because anything that I've enjoyed has been destroyed. But it's just not the same anymore. That paint's going to be different unless he paints the entire car, which is not going to be covered by insurance. It's going to have a little bit of a look to it. They'll be able to fade the bumper. They'll be able to fade it into the door and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's just a fade. And that doesn't look the same as a full coat. It just doesn't. It could. The older paint, is already fading from the sun, where the new paint won't be as faded. So I think over time you will start to see that color difference, especially with a red. A red is a tough one. Black's pretty tough too. White, not bad. The pearl white, I think, is more difficult to blend than just a plain white. But at the end of the day, man, what a fucking bummer. You're at work, you get a phone call, your car has just been slammed into. And I mean, what makes that other car so like a one of a kind? I mean, it looked just like, do those Buicks, they're not around anymore? Is that what it is? And, but at the same time, it doesn't matter if it was one of a kind. It was his car and you stole it. You stole it and you just went on a rampage? Man, what was going on in that driver's mind, right? I can't wait till they arrest him because they'll never find out anyways. Car slams into Starbucks along Route 1 in Walpole, injuring employee. Huh? I mean, why? Why can't we keep the cars on the road, everybody? Why?
Look on the right of your screen as that car goes by. This is surveillance video. You'll see
Whoa!
on it shows a car speeding on two wheels down Route 1 in Walpole. That sports car then taking out a fence.
Wait a minute. Was this asshole trying to cut traffic and he thought he was badass by going up on two wheels? And how did you even do that? How do you do that? Is that hydraulics that they do that with? What the hell?
A table, chairs, and then smashing
Holy
into a
shit.
Starbucks. The crash sending a Starbucks employee to the hospital. Good
Oh
evening,
my
everyone.
God.
I'm Jennifer Pignata in for Maria tonight, and this was right around 8 o'clock at the Starbucks on Route 1 in Walpole. Our John Atwater is live there tonight, talking with people who saw and heard all of this craziness happen, John.
And Jen, those witnesses say this was incredibly scary. They say the car was flying down Route 1 here, and you can see where it ended up, leaving the roadway and crashing right through this Starbucks. You can see a lot of damage to the store. They're just shoring it up right now. But look at this dash cam video, which you'll see only on 5. It shows the car careening down Route 1 South up on two wheels after hitting a utility pole. It's flying past cars stopped at a red light, tearing up mulch on the side of the road. Amazingly, the light just turns green, so there's no cross traffic. Now, this is another view from a surveillance camera. That car flying past all of the traffic in the breakdown lane and shooting across Route 27 right by the big Y on Route 1. It smashes through the fence of the patio area of the Starbucks and then crashes into the store right before closing at 8 o'clock tonight. Now, a worker inside was hurt, and a witness tells us that he could not believe how fast that car was going.
All right. Drunk driver? Is this someone being drunk? Holy shit, dude. I still want to know how they got the car up on two wheels like that. I don't know how to do that, so. Wow.
It jumped the curb over in front of the gas station, and there's mulch and debris in the road there. Traveled across the Route 1 intersection here, and then jumped the curb and went straight into the side of the Starbucks. And I think the driver got out. It was okay.
Of course the driver was
This is
okay.
video of the worker being taken to the ambulance. You can see she is alert. We're told her injuries are minor. And look at this picture inside the store. And you can see customers could have been sitting at all of those tables that were thrown across the store.
But they
Police are
weren't.
investigating how this happened. They say speed appears to be a factor. Amazingly, the driver of that out-of-control car was not hurt.
Oh, my God. That is wild, everybody. I'll have to be honest with you. I don't see that very often, so I don't know how you would get your car up like that. That is crazy. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on this. Sundar Pichai says OpenAI might have breached YouTube's terms and conditions to train its text-to-video model for SORA. Let me see. Let's see. So if you felt like they had broken your terms and conditions, or potentially, or if they had, they wouldn't have been appropriate. OpenAI might have breached YouTube's terms and conditions to train its text-to-video model, SORA, says Google's CEO. But how? How did they do it? Oh, okay, here we go. Let's watch the video.
There's some news reports recently that OpenAI had trained its video generation product SORA on YouTube. Yeah. How did you feel when you heard that news?
Look, we don't know the details. I think, our YouTube team is following up and trying to understand. Look, we have terms and conditions, right? And we would expect people to abide by those terms and conditions, right? And so I think when you build a product, and so that's how I felt about it, right?
So you felt like they had broken your terms and conditions, or potentially, or if they had, that wouldn't have been appropriate.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The reason I asked that question, which is a much more emotional question, is, okay, maybe that's not appropriate. And what OpenAI has said, whatever they've said, is essentially in the order of, we've trained on publicly available information, which means we found it on the web. Most people don't get to make that deal, right? They don't have a YouTube team of licensing professionals who can say, we had terms and conditions. They don't even have terms and conditions. They're just putting their stuff on the internet. Do you understand why emotionally there's the reaction to AI from the creative community, that it feels the same way as you might have felt about OpenAI training on YouTube?
Absolutely. Look, I think be it website owners or content creators or artists, I can understand how emotional a transformation this is.
At the end of the day, I will be honest with you. How did they do it? How did they train SORA through YouTube? And how did they break the terms and conditions? I think it's interesting, right? So they're training the AI from the algorithm of YouTube, it seems. And if I have this wrong, I have it wrong. But I guess that is a breach of YouTube, because that's their personal information and you're not supposed to have access to it, which is why every creator out there complains about Netflix and Amazon and all these other people, because they just tell you, yeah, everybody likes it. And then when they're like, what's the numbers? They're like, everybody likes it. Everybody likes it. They don't give that information out. So maybe having access to that information is what the breach was, because technically YouTube does the exact same thing. they give you as much information as needed, but they don't allow you to understand how it works, or they may tell you, maybe if you're monetized and you have a bigger audience, maybe you deal with the simple fact that like there's no accurate numbers and things like that. I don't know. I think I'm making shit up now. So we're going to move on to the next one. NVidia is getting into robotics adopted by industry leaders for development of tens of millions of AI-powered autonomous machines. NVidia, everybody, my favorite graphics card designers. So NVIDIA today announced that the world's leaders in robot developments are adopting the NVIDIA Isaac robotics platform for the research, development, and production of the next generation of AI-enabled autonomous machines and robots. So I think this is pretty cool. I don't know exactly what it means, but it seems like NVIDIA is now getting into the AI. So if they're getting into AI, they're just solidifying their future, right? Because their graphics cards are probably one of the best out there, I think. It's usually all I purchase for my computers. And so this is just going to hold their place. I mean, if NVIDIA gets a piece of the AI in the humanoid world and they're embedded within these things, I mean, you've just solidified yourself for your future, of a growing business and company. So we're also working on emulating biology for robots with rolling contact joints. And if you can see this picture, it's really neat. So now they're starting to weave these joints together that are connected, and it's going to give the humanoids more realistic movement towards looking more human, right? They're going to be able to actually like move their shoulders and their elbows and their wrists, and they're going to be able to do it pretty close to what we are actually capable of doing as human beings.
Today, we're going to take a look at rolling contact joints. I've been working on a robotics project, and just due to the size of the features, it's hard to get mechanical ball bearings in here. And so I decided to use rolling contact joints.
Wow.
And this project's going to be stalled for a little while just because I've got other things to work on. But I decided to make a quick video about the joints in particular because they're really interesting and I don't think a lot of people know about them. So I want to introduce this joint to folks for whatever project you might be working on. A quick overview is that I'm trying to build an avian or bird-inspired robot. Basically, it'll hop around and look like a bird. This was my first attempt, and it uses traditional ball bearings and carbon fiber rods for structural support, as well as the shafts going through the bearings. And these aren't the smallest bearing that you can find, but they are getting close to the smallest. There's kind of just a lower limit as to how small of bearings you can get, and that puts some design limitations just based on kind of feature sizes around the outer diameter and inner diameter of these bearings. So I wasn't overly happy with this design for a lot of reasons, but especially for the bearings. So I started working on a new design, which uses these rolling contact joints. Because the design I'm working on is so small, I decided to print out a scaled version so that we could look at the mechanism a little easier.
Oh, wow, that was a 3D printer? Oh, dude.
Okay, so
wow.
Rolling compliant rolling contact joint is made up of two halves that have some kind of curved surface. And the curved surface on both sides roll against each other.
Oh, wow.
That's basically it. There's not much more to it than that. But there's a lot of nuance into the types of surfaces you build here. And
wow, that is very interesting. And I think that is going to change everything. Again, this is happening so fast, and these things are becoming more and more human-like. And with people like him out there that are just sitting around fucking playing with this shit, wow. Wow. I mean, that's going to be crazy. That's definitely going to be an evolution. This guy is going to be a billionaire. What am I doing wrong, everybody? Where can I pull one of these ideas out? Because I need one of these ideas. Who doesn't need one of these ideas today? Holy shit, that is going to be absolutely wild. Let's see what we got. So let's see here. This is Boston Dynamics creepy robotic canine dances in sparky blue costume. I just thought this was going to be funny. So let's check it out real quick.
Shows a robot canine wearing a sparkly blue outfit that instead of impressive, feels really terrifying instead. Boston Dynamics posted this video on YouTube to celebrate International Dance Day, and it features two of their robo-dogs that share a kiss before they break out dancing. Watching robots dance is, well, an impressive feat, but adding this blue sparkly costume for some may be adorable, and for others, it turns out this dance is fueling nightmares.
Nightmares?
Some comments were more positive, such as, quote, it'd be a bit freaky, yeah, but also so darn cool and immersive. Whereas others had more questionable reactions, such as, quote, everybody wants the pet dog until its neck extends 4 feet, unquote. This video was released shortly after the release of Boston Dynamics' humanoid robot called the Atlas 2.0. And if you're in the market for a dancing humanoid robot, the company plans on selling it later this year with no price yet announced.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, you're going to be able to buy it all. All right. You're going to have a dancing dog. You're going to have a flame-throwing dog. You're going to have dogs with machine guns. I mean, I don't exactly understand what is so scary about that. I didn't find it to be scary at all. I actually found it to be kind of humorous. But, I mean, these robots are crazy, everybody. All of this is crazy. It's wild out there today. And I don't... it's not slowing down. It's just gearing up more and more and more. And let's see what I got here. Look, I don't know what is going on today, but this, everybody thinks that this is a mask on Biden. I think it's just the shadow off of his shirt. Now, somebody is putting this out there as number 16 mask for Joe Biden. So if you watch, okay, look, he's looking down. You can see a line right here, all right? Now, I'm not seeing a break in the mask or a shadow behind it. It just looks like a shadow from his shirt. But could it be somebody dressed up as with a mask on of Joe Biden? That's a really, really good mask. Like, I don't even think it's possible to make a mask that good today. I just don't. I don't think any mask really fits you that well. I mean, unless you're doing movie makeup, maybe. But check it out. You tell me.
Essentially all the tax.
Watch the face.
All of the benefits flowing to the top 1/10 of 1%. There's never been as great a concentration of wealth, including going back to the Great Depression.
Right. I mean, if I pause that, I guess it starts to look like somebody else's neck. It starts to look like somebody else's neck.
And so one of the things that worries me most about that, John, is not just the essential.
You know what I mean? So, look, I don't know if Dave Chappelle is not Dave Chappelle. I don't know if Biden is not Biden. I don't know if Hillary's not Hillary. I don't know if it's possible that they are lizard people. But there has been a video of Adel supposedly shape-shifting into a lizard. And it's been seen twice. It's been seen. Literally seen. People said they've seen her shape-shifting. Adele, that's why she's been missing. That's why she hasn't done anything. Because she can't control her inner lizard from shape-shifting. And so she's doing it in public. And until she can get her internal shape-shifting lizard capabilities under control... Come on, this sounds so fucking insane to me. It sounds crazy. Until she can get that under control, she cannot do any concerts or going out in public anymore. So, I don't know, everybody. I don't know. But this is fucking hilarious. Come on. Come on. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Let's see here. My next one. This is crazy, everybody, but I think I can get away with showing it because there's no blood. There's no blood, but this woman needs to be called a hero. This is absolutely insane, and he deserves everything he got. So since I've been strucken by YouTube, no more music on videos. But as you can see, this is a video of a street. A gentleman walks up with a gun in his hand, goes to grab for something, and then this woman just comes out and blasts him in the chest as he lays on the ground in agonizing pain, being shot. She disarms him, walks over him, and then just holds him in place, basically putting him under citizen's arrest. Now, I'm sorry, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. He is hurt. He's hurt, but there's no blood. There's nothing going on here. She did what almost nobody else would ever do. She pulled out her gun and she disarmed and took out that gentleman and took out that guy and saved whoever he was trying to attack. I mean, and look at him just being like, I'm sorry you got shot. I really am. It probably hurts really, really bad. But why are you running up on people with a gun? Don't you know that everybody's waiting to pop off? That was a great opportunity. This lady was like, I got this. And friggin' just puts one in the chest and is like, I'm going to hold you down until the cops show up. Good for you. She deserves a medal. An absolute medal for that. Awesome. Awesome. I loved it. I thought it was great. That is what it's all about, everybody. And that's the podcast today. All right. So thank you again to everybody. Thank you to all of my subscribers. You are what keeps me coming back here week after week. So if you're new, remember to subscribe. Hit that button, everybody. I greatly appreciate it. And of course, if you want to tell your story, have an opportunity to be on the podcast, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. That's the official email of the podcast. Send an audio, video, or type it out. And then, of course, share the podcast by copying that link tree. It's in the description below the video. It's also the easiest way to find everything TwT. So go ahead, click it, follow, and subscribe. And then, of course, I hope everybody out there enjoys their Thursday. I hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you later.